final game we're talking about today is number 13 Kansas State at BYU. Is a late one, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Storyline for this game is, okay, is BYU a Big 12 contender or not? Because so far, they've been one of the bigger surprises in college football. BYU entered the season with a win total set at just 4.5. They're 3-0 at the start of the year right now. They're 2 wins away from surpassing their preseason win total, and they beat Southern Illinois, SMU, which was a shocker to us. We were actually in Ann Arbor when they beat SMU. We couldn't believe it. And Wyoming. So not necessarily the best competition so far, but still impressive that BYU's 3-0 when they're expected to be 4-8 or 5-7, right? So BYU now has a real chance to prove, hey, we are legitimate against Kansas State that just dominated number 20 Arizona. Our Big 12 championship pick at Arizona dominated them this past weekend. If the Cougars pull off the upset, all of a sudden, in a wide-open Big 12 that feels like we have 8 teams that could win it, now BYU joins the mix as a team that can win it as well, and they will surely enter the top 25 and, like I said, be one of the top Big 12 contenders all of a sudden, even though we never thought of BYU as being even remotely a contender in this Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be the best, beat the best, right? And BYU is not among the set of teams we know when we talked about in the preseason, Utah and Arizona and K-State, Oklahoma State, even teams like UCF or maybe Kansas. That's not happening now, but they weren't in that set of teams, right? And they had a rough year last year. They've had a rough couple of years. Was last year their first year in the Big 12?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, most of the teams they had a tough adjustment getting to a bigger conference like that. So definitely they look better right now. They absolutely look better than they did last year. But this is a big step up, especially after what K-State did to Arizona last week.
So Dalton, I want to hear about this BYU offense from you in just a second. But first, we need to talk about Jake Retzloff a little bit, because Jake Retzloff in the first game of the year, ESPN put up a graphic of his motivation for this year. And if you could see, what he has on his phone right there, Dalton, is Dalton Wassman's Big 12 quarterback rankings. And on that ranking, you had Jake Retzloff as the worst quarterback in the Big 12. So he actually kept the receipts and is saying, that is my motivation, is to prove you, Dalton Wassman, wrong this year. So tell me about Jake Retzloff. What have you seen from him this year compared to last year? And what should Kansas State defensively try to do against him?
No, I mean, I appreciate that. Look, and I made preseason, I made a ranking of all 70 Power 5 quarterbacks, and a lot of it was, it was mainly based on, for the vast majority of the guys, what you've already done in your career, right? Yep. And Retzloff started, 3 or 4 games last year, and he struggled through them, as did the whole BYU team. But look, tough job this summer. It's really, the offense is all about him, because he had a quarterback competition with Gary Bohannon, who started at 2 different schools and very easily could have started at third had they chosen him. But Retzloff, he had a good summer, won the job, and he's been good through 3 games, right? So I think for me in this game, what it is for him, there's a split right now. There's a hard split between when he's facing a standard rush and when he's facing a blitz. Okay, so I'll start with him against non-blitzes, okay? 73.4 passing grade in his career, 7 big-time throws, 5 turnover-worthy plays, and he's played good football. The biggest strength with Retzloff is when he's clean, he's attacking down the middle of the field. He can throw terrific balls, 10-plus yards, 20-plus yards down the middle of the field. That's where he likes to attack, up the seams, deep posts, things like that. That's where BYU wants to get in their passing game, is down the middle of the field. He just needs to be clean enough. The problem so far has been when he gets blitzed and there's that extra pressure, he's letting go of the ball early, right? And you get a 36 passing grade in his career, 1 big-time throw, 9 turnover-worthy plays. It's a heavy split. Now, the interesting part to this, from a scheme standpoint, K-State is not known as a blitzing team.
Yeah.
They send standard rushes. Last year, they were the 8th. They had the 8th lowest pass blitz rate in the Power 5. This year, it's the 4th lowest. They don't blitz. So Retzloff is going to have opportunities in this game, if that holds, to make those throws down the middle of the field. He's also their leading rusher, right? So you can look. That's just the way it is right now for BYU. They don't have a ton of run game by design. He has to go back there and win games for them. When he's clean and he sees a standard rush, if teams don't go after him, he could absolutely do damage, especially, like I said, down the middle of the field. He's one of the better passers in the country, absolutely, and he's certainly improved through the offseason and into this year. This is a bigger test, though, because you've got K-State's running game. Who knows where the time of possession goes? So the opportunities he gets, if K-State doesn't ratchet up the pressure, this is very much to me like last week when we had Boston College, Missouri, and I said, how much heat are they throwing? How many are we doing more? Are we blitzing more than usual? And BC blitzed a lot, especially early in the game. They threw more at Missouri than they normally do. I'm curious to see if K-State sees this and goes, are we gonna heat him up? Because it isn't. They're 3-0. But you don't see, there's not a ton of dynamic talent on this BYU offense. It's really about Retzloff directing traffic, staying clean, and taking shots down the middle of the field. And if, again, K-State usually on defense is very, very conservative. If they stay that way, he does have a chance to succeed in this game.
And Dalton, on the other side of the ball, it's can BYU get Kansas State into obvious passing situations. Right now, Kansas State's offense is pretty predicated on their three-headed monster in the run game. Right now, Kansas State tied for 5th in America with 7.3 yards per carry, and they're second in the country with 28% of their runs going for at least 10 yards this season. Right now, Avery Johnson has 200 rushing yards on the year. That is 4th among Power 4 quarterbacks. DJ Giddens is 10th among Power 4 running backs with 324 yards. He's one of the better running backs in the country. Defenses also must account for Dylan Edwards, who has 9 broken tackles on only 15 carries this year. He's a really electric player for them. BYU's done a pretty good job of stopping the run with a top 25 run defense grade in the country. They've only allowed 4.2 yards per carry as well. However, though, I will say, BYU has allowed 213 rushing yards from opposing quarterbacks this year. So they've had a little bit of an issue defending the quarterback run through 3 games this year. That's a big time problem against one of the best mobile quarterbacks in the country in Avery Johnson. I think for BYU to pull off the upset in this game, get them into 3rd and 6 or more. If you could do that and Avery Johnson has to drop back as a passer, BYU can maybe win this game. But if Kansas State is rattling off like 6-7 yard runs a pop, then I don't know if BYU's defense is going to be able to stop this run game for them.
No, you mentioned, I think you hit it exactly on the head on that side of the ball. What they need to do, there's 2 things that need to happen in this game for BYU to win it. Discipline and winning on early downs on defense. You just mentioned, you get him to 3rd and 8, you stand a chance. Avery Johnson is not the most refined passer yet. He's getting better, but he's getting better week to week and getting better slowly, right? He's not the most dynamic passer and making full field reads and doing all those things. Most of his best throws right now are coming one read by design where we need you to throw the football, right? This run game is the key, as always, for K-State. We mentioned it last week with Arizona. Not a statement game. It's the same way they play every week, and I expect the same out of them this week. So they need discipline and to win on early downs on defense, and I'll be honest with you, I think they need Retzloff to play just about a perfect game. And the big thing is again, I mentioned against the blitz, those 9 turnover-worthy plays in his career. He can't give the ball away under pressure. You can't put the ball away you can't put the ball in danger, I should say, when you're under pressure. So if they keep him clean, and again, he can take those shots down the middle of the field, they've got a shot. There is a path here. It's a tough path. I won't, because more so because K-State's just really darn good. I mean, they're legitimately right now one of the 15 best teams in the country. And anytime, I know it's at home, and the funny thing is you think about playing BYU's like at high altitude and all of that, right? And you think about trying to get a team in here and wear them down, but K-State is kind of the team that wears everybody else down, right? Yeah. And so I don't know that it works against a team like K-State as much as it would somebody else going in there. And BYU's run game is not quite up to the speed of their passing game either.
So, Dalton, will Jake Retzloff once again prove you wrong and the Cougars pull off the upset here, or do you think the Wildcats are going to win this game?
Look, I love when guys are motivated. I really do, because the more good football players and the more good football teams we get, the more entertaining games we get. Yeah. Honestly, I hope he is really good. I hope he's really good in this game and we get a tight game. Honest prediction, I've got K-State 35, BYU 20. I just think K-State's style is so tried and true, and they're so good. And I think BYU could very well still have a good season, still make a bowl game. He absolutely looks better than last year. Yeah. He would certainly, like that list right there, based on the way he's played through at least 3 games, he would move up that list certainly a couple spots. Yeah, he's played better than last year, and he won the competition, and clearly he's rightfully won that competition, because, again, they could have given the job to Bohannon. He's a veteran. He's been around a long time. He's seen a lot of football. He's played, he played at Baylor. Did he win a Big 12 title at Baylor? Or was it in the Big 12 title game?
Might have been in the Big 12
title game. Did he get hurt in that game?
Was he the starting quarterback, though? I'm not sure.
I don't remember if he...
Shapen? It might have been Shapen.
I almost feel like Bohannon got hurt.
Yeah.
I forget how...
Well, he had that shoulder, and that's why he's not playing. He didn't play at all last year.
Yeah, USF. Yeah, I mean,
and even shoulder.
Yeah, and even at USF, there were moments where it was like, man, this guy's still pretty good. And Retzloff beat him out, and he's been playing well. But I think just because of how difficult this task is and how good K-State is and the momentum they're rolling, they were just spectacular last week. I mean, there's no other way about it, and they were spectacular in all the ways that they wanted to be, right? I think K-State's style of ball is too tried and true. I think they're really darn good. I've got them 35-20 in this game. BYU, there is a path for them to put up a fight, but I think K-State is just too good for this task for BYU.
Yeah, I think the BYU start 3-0 is great, and they beat SMU, who we really liked entering the year. But at the same time, SMU doesn't look great, and they beat Southern Illinois, who's an FCS school, and Wyoming has been horrible to start the year, to put it lightly, honestly. So I just don't know how real this is for BYU. I got Kansas State winning this as well, 31-17. Don't be wrong, BYU is better than what I thought they were going to be. Coming into the year, I did not think they're making a bowl game. Now I'm like, okay, I think they will make a bowl game now at the 3-0 start. But I think Avery Johnson's legs is going to be too much for BYU to handle. They're going to lead them to victory. And I think BYU comes kind of crashing back down to earth a little bit with their first loss of the year. And Kansas State's first Big 12 win of the season, Dalton, because remember last week that Arizona game didn't count to the Big 12 standings at all. So Kansas State gets its first official Big 12 win over BYU.